and it's a win-win. And you just feel good when women are, if they cry because they love their pictures and
Right.
they get on Facebook the next day and they post their pictures and everybody's responding, going, "Oh my God, you look so amazing. You're beautiful." I mean, these women just get built up and they just feel, everybody loves a good picture of themselves.
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset.
If you get one shot at this, what kind of shot are you going to take?
If we forget who we are, they're going to forget who you are.
You've got an adversity story that's out of this world.
Everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer.
Welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. Today we have Carol Bliss with Bliss Photography with us. She has created a new spin on a traditional photography business. Super excited to talk to her. How are you doing today, Carol?
I'm doing great, Ken. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I'm excited to hear your story. Before we learn more about Bliss Photography and your Vogue Photography system that you've created, can you tell us a little bit about, where you're from and, how you were brought up that brings you to becoming the entrepreneur that you are today?
Oh, yeah. Well, photography's just always been in my life. Even as a young kid, I was the one that always had the camera. Grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. I live in Kansas now, but not far from where I grew up. But I was just born with that talent. I always took the pictures. I just always was the one. And I went to college. I got a degree in broadcasting and film. And I took some photography there, some classes. And of course, back then it was film. Digital was not created yet. Love film. Love that whole process. But again, it was just that hobby. I didn't even think, this could be a career. That wasn't on my radar.
Right.
But got married, have two boys. I worked some as a young mom, but then I eventually quit and stayed home and raised my boys. It wasn't until they got to middle school age that I was like, okay. And somebody told me once, they do leave the nest and they leave and go away. What am I going to do? I'm that person. I've got to do something. And I know of all the jobs I had up to that point, I just didn't like working for companies. I just want to be in charge. I want to control all of that, like everything about that, how often you work and just be the big decision maker. So between that and then my photography, the love of that, it just kind of all clicked. It was just like, this
makes a lot of sense.
I'm gonna do. So yeah, I started small, worked out of my home for 6 years, and I've been in my studio for 11 years. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started the company 17 years ago, Bliss Photography. You do portraits, traditional school, graduation photos, all that traditional stuff that you would normally consider a photographer, that you would hire a photographer for, right? Are you primarily photos for the consumer, or do you product placement photos as well?
No, just consumer.
Just consumer. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. And so about 10 years ago, you came up with a new concept for photography.
Yes.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about what that is and why that's special to you?
Yeah. I was at a photography convention. I used to go to those a lot in the beginning, those big conventions in cities, and had a lot of speakers, and everybody kept talking about, there was this great speaker that was from Joplin, Missouri, and he does this amazing work. And the pictures are very, what I called at the time, Vogue looking. They're very magazine, high fashion. And they're really, really cool. And And so I thought, I'm going to go listen to this guy speak. And I was in the audience, and I'm just expecting some young kid that's, very creative and, head in the clouds,
Right.
kind of, hey. Well, this guy, middle age, short, kind of overweight, glasses, cargo shorts, and a t-shirt, and has a Rebel camera in his hand, and he comes on stage, and I'm like, this can't be the guy. And it was. And he had his camera and I call it a chicken light. Do you know, like at Home Depot, those lights, they're round and silver, and they have a handle, a clamp.
Yeah.
I don't
Like a work light.
Yeah. Well,
Construction
anyway.
light. Yeah. Temporary lighting for construction sites.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, he had one of those in his hand and his camera. And I'm telling you, the pictures are just, they'll blow you away. They're just stunning. And it's his part-time job. And he's up there talking how he uses that light in his camera, and he's shooting all these pictures. That's how he does it. And I am like blown away. I'm like, this guy's amazing. that was the moment. That was what made me go, because I kept thinking Vogue. God, these pictures belong in Vogue magazine. And so I just got very excited. I couldn't wait to get home. Went and bought some of those lights, had some models come in, and we did the makeup, and I just started recreating those pictures, and I'm like, oh, everybody's loving them. And I just thought, well, I think other women are going to want to do this. And it's just got to be, hey, let's do parties. So we called them the Vogue party. And
okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So I recall when I was younger, you would go to the malls, and the women in my family would go to the mall, and they would do the glamour shots.
Yes.
Right. Is this similar to that?
It's that and so much better. It's the quality.
Are you going to you're creating a party? Is that correct?
Yes, it's a party atmosphere. In the beginning, since I was working out of my home, I would travel to the hostess home. So the girl that was like, hey, I want to do a party for me and my friends, she would have it in her home. And so I would pack up everything, travel to her home, and then I would do pictures of all her guests. And it's a very party atmosphere. The hostess has food and drink, and and each girl comes up, and they get 10, 15 minutes session with me. I have jewelry and hats and other props, and they're just, they're great pictures. They're just, women don't normally do this,
Right.
It's just,
so you get to put them on display, make them look glamorous, give them a photo like would go into Vogue at the end of the shoot.
Yes. And we retouched the pictures that while the party was going on, I had somebody help me. And then we'd show a slideshow at the end of the party of everybody's pictures. So the girls were all sitting around, and they watched the slideshow, and they're just like, ah!
Wonderful. So the host, is this a revenue opportunity for the host to do, or is this just a cool thing that she can do for her friends and family?
Well, the hostess will get a free Vogue session at the studio.
Okay.
At the time, she just came to my studio in my home. And so we do her hair and makeup, and it's a more intense session. We do more with her because it's just her, and we do, she can change her clothes. And so she gets her own private session for having the party, and then she gets all her pictures for free.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. I love it. That's a great concept.
Yeah.
So, and you started this 10 years ago?
Yeah, just it's probably 11 now, but 10 to 11, yeah.
Did that coincide with the opening of the studio, or did the studio come
Pretty
before?
much. Yeah, I started in my home for about a year. And I traveled that whole year to each home. But when I moved into my studio, women just came to the studio. I didn't travel anymore, and it was easier for me just to have everything here. But, women love it. It's, they love the pictures because everybody's on social media and everybody wants a great profile pictures. And I still, Facebook, I have friends on there that have their Vogue picture from like 10 years ago as their main picture. And it's always fun to see that they still feel good about that.
Yes, that is amazing. I think it's really important for people to see themselves in the best light that they can, right? And you get to do that for people and give them that gift that they wouldn't normally, treat themselves to something glamorous like that. So I think that's super fun. So, we're in a post-COVID world today in 2022, and we're hearing more and more about experience-based businesses that, the service economy is starting to become more and more competitive, and you have to really create new kinds of experiences and different kind of things, specifically for small businesses. Can you tell the audience kind of what creating that experience did for Bliss Photography was? It feels to me like it's almost a catalyst for extended growth and moving forward. Whereas if you would have just stuck with portraits, you'd be competing with all kinds of different people, but you created your own little niche here, right?
Nobody's doing it anywhere, which is what's so cool about it. I mean, it's, the whole concept, but it actually, by adding the Vogue party to Bliss Photography, now I'm meeting all these new people. So, now I've, some of them need family pictures. And so it kind of helped my other business by exposing me to people I probably wouldn't have met. But
and you can charge more
for
a group photography session like that for the hours of labor that it's going to take to do one shoot, you get to go to a party and have multiple. I'm assuming it costs more to show up at the party than it does to have somebody come into the studio or anything else.
Yeah. With the parties, you've got, 7 to 10 girls there, so it's a shorter session. Everything's discounted a little bit more because if you come to my studio for a session, I just focus on you and you only. But the revenue that you can make from a Vogue party it's crazy money. It's like, yes, there's work that's involved, but it's good money because you've got multiple girls there that are
You found a way to go from a one-on-one business model to a one-to-many business model, so you can have multiple people there buying the product all at the same time.
Yes.
Right. Yes. And you've done this through house parties for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. I think it's brilliant and it's the right move. Now, you're in a mission now to grow Bliss Photography and the specific line of business, the Vogue Photography, right? And you're looking for photographers today. Tell us what you're looking for, because I don't want to say it wrong. And who the right kind of person is, what you're looking for, kind of what that structure looks like.
Yeah. I had so much success with the Vogue party. I, again, was thinking, okay, well, there are women in other cities and towns that would love to have this experience. And then there's other women or photographers in other towns and cities that would love to add this to their photography business. It's a great source of income. Again, all those positives of meeting new people, exposing your photography to them. But that's my goal, is to build it slowly. I mean, it'll take a while. I have a couple girls that are offering Vogue parties, and they're local. They're very close to me, but I felt like I had to start somewhere. I just have to get, those couple to start offering parties. But it's like a 2-day training for when a girl wants to come and do Vogue photography.
Right.
They come here and I teach them everything.
Is that 2 8-hour days?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. And I said girl, I haven't had any guys. I just think women feel more comfortable, with that type of photography. I don't know. It's just, I don't want to seem.
Well, I think because you're catering to the Vogue style and the female party, and your client, the good thing about marketing is that you get to be a little generalizing on people, right? You get to say, hey, my product isn't designed for men, right? It just isn't. And I think that's okay, right? Yes. You're not saying that a man can't work for you. Absolutely could. But it's just not, they're not flocking to your doors.
Right.
So
to me, the ideal Vogue photographer would be that, like I was when I started. I was a stay-home mom. I knew I loved photography. Didn't know what to do with that. So it's the woman that's bored, looking for some side hustle to make a little bit of extra income. It's all those women that sell jewelry and makeup with home parties. It's like the Tupperware women. They're out there. There are women out there that need something to do, besides just being that stay-at-home mom.
Absolutely. And the stay-at-home mom is not just a stay-at-home mom. She's a fantastic woman that does more for the society than most people on this planet do.
Yes.
So I don't want to take anything away from her. My wife was a stay-at-home mom for the first 8 years of our kids' lives. So that should be honored and praised. But there is a problem there that when you make that decision, you're pulling her out of the workforce for 5, 10, 15 years sometimes. And it's hard for her to get back in. So I think it's admirable that you're creating something for these people to get back into the workforce, and even better that they get to do it on their own terms, right? Which is wildly important. And this, you're right, it could be a side hustle, but this is not exaggeration at all. That this is a full-time gig, or at least a part-time gig with full-time money.
Yes, it is. It's, they basically just have to book the parties. I do all the other work for them. They, and it's a win-win, and you just feel good when women are, if they cry because they love their pictures, and they get on Facebook the next day and they post their pictures, and everybody's responding, going, "Oh my God, you look so amazing. You're beautiful." I mean, these women just get built up, and they just feel, everybody loves a good picture of themselves. That's,
I always tell the photographers, I don't know how you do it. You make me look so much better than I actually look. I love it. I pay for headshots probably every quarter. I get my picture retaken. So sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not, but wonderful. So you're looking for girls today. If they wanted to, or looking for people to bring on, teach them this model, and then let them go out on their own. Do they have to have photography skills?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if women have an interest in photography, because I am looking for somebody that's, I mean, I think you've got to have on some level, some love for taking pictures.
Right.
So
But you don't have to know aperture and stuff like that for this kind of photography because they have your support. Lighting,
yes.
And you're teaching them how to light and all those things, right? For this specific kind of shoot.
Yes, it's the camera, the lens, and the lighting. And I still haven't figured this part out yet. Doing some like startup kit, which would include like a little bit of jewelry, some hats, some other little props that I use. But they basically need that camera, the lens, and some sort of laptop, and then they're good to go. And then they come to the training. I show them, it's, again, if you've got that love and desire, you're going to come to training and you're going to learn it and catch on and be like, okay.
Yes. Wonderful. I love it. It's fantastic. If somebody wanted to learn more about booking a party with you, how would they find out? How would they get more information?
The VogueParty.com.
The VogueParty.com. We'll throw that link at the bottom here as well. Is that also how, if somebody wanted to start on this journey of becoming a Vogue photographer, is that how they would find out more information as well? I have a tab on there for photographers. If somebody's interested in hosting a party, I have a gallery of work on there too. That's and I have no doubt you'll be nationwide in the next few years. What kind of area do you service right now? The Kansas City? It's the Kansas City Metro. Kansas City Metro. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Yep. 25, 50 miles around that area? About, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now that's to take the pictures. What if somebody on the coast wanted to go through your training? Would that be an option for somebody? Yes. If they wanted to do that, absolutely. To reach out. Okay. Absolutely. Yep. And that's so great, with digital photography. Yes. Again, you just need a computer and internet access, and then we can create a business. Absolutely. It's made it so much nicer. And the barrier to entry has dropped so low that the only thing you have to have today is a desire to do a business. And if you have that desire and you have the ambition to go do it, you can do it. Right? Yeah. Anybody that really wants it can go do it. The resources are there. Yes. And so much more today than when you started 17 years ago. Yes. There was no resources barely for you, right? Right. Well, to get started then. With digital photography, it's just changed the whole industry. Yes. And that's all we're selling at the Vogue parties, or the digital image. I used to do prints and other stuff back in the day, but people just weren't interested. They just want that digital, and I was just like, okay, fine. And I have simplified it. I got to a point where I just had offered all of them for a set amount. And then I was like, I'm going to price it at this. I priced it at $2.99. And because they would see 20 to 30 pictures. Right. And I was a little like, I really don't think women are going to buy it. But they did. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, well, it's an experience, right? They get to have that, and then I think $2.99 is a steal. It's an emotional purchase too, because you got to buy them that night. So they've been drinking all night. They're with their girlfriend, and social lubricant is always a help in sales. Well, yeah, and everybody's saying, "Oh my God, you look amazing!" It's just, but it's all good. I don't feel like I'm, overcharging or anything, because they just genuinely
were very touched. And
Right. And they get the digital copies, and they have the rights to the digital copy as well. So they can take that and get it printed anywhere that they want.
Yeah.
So they get it printed on a canvas. They can get it printed on a Tupperware or glass or whatever they want, right? Put it on a T-shirt for their husband if they want to.
There you go. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it. And if they, is it thevogueparty.com? Is that for Bliss Photography as well?
Well, I have two websites.
Okay.
One, blissphotography.images.com. It's
so if you wanted a traditional photo shoot or something like that, that's where you would go. Portraits, graduation, those kinds of photos.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Carol, I enjoyed talking with you today. Is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with before we go?
No, I appreciate it. Anytime I can talk about Vogue, I'll take advantage of that because
absolutely, as you should. And I think it's amazing that you're taking this and trying to help other women start their business. Helping people start their business is a passion of mine. I hate seeing people that want to try to do something, but fear gets in their way so frequently. And it's okay. Like
I get
you might fail, and that's okay, right?
Okay.
But not knowing is way worse than failing.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time today, Carol.
All right.
I had a blast.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Clicks and Bricks. Get to work.